Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? It's Dan here from Crying Noir. Welcome to a week 10? I want to say week 10. Really bad hair today. Anyway, crappy intro done. It's been a very interesting week, or 2 weeks in fact, actually. It's been very, very interesting and quite fraught with drama. I'd taken a week out of devlogging and game development in general because I was doing the video for LucasArts. That's up and done and has had a okay reception. I would say brilliant, but okay. I don't think it's quite as popular a topic, shall we say, as the Sega Mega Drive or the Amiga, but it should be because the LucasArts are amazing. Or were. It was back to work on Monday, and basically Josh brought me up to speed on what he had been up to with the space shooter. So we've been discussing ways as to what to do with the firing mechanic, because I wanted larger projectiles as rather than just the standard ones. I wanted larger ones and I wanted faster projectiles, and Josh had done a really cool spread mechanic as well. So I just basically said, oh look, while I'm doing this week, if you could have a look into doing some sort of way so that we would have 3 power-ups. So we will have one that increases your fire rate, one that increases the amount of power that's put out of the weapon, so we're talking like the bigger actual bullets. So you have smaller bullets, bigger bullets, larger bullets, and then the big spread one. And then also work on a spread thing as well. That way you can end up with like quite small bullets that would fire at a slow rate but would spread, so you would end up with lots of those if you'd only picked up the spread one. Or potentially you could end up with just one thing that would then fire really large because you picked up all the power-ups but you hadn't maybe picked up very much of the spread power-up and things, you know. So I was like, if you could kind of do that, and also have a look at maybe doing some sort of sparks or something when the bullets hit the boundaries. So that's what he has done, and I think you will agree that it looks chuffing amazing. It looks really, really good. I can't thank him enough for the work he's put in on that game. It looks absolutely amazing. So that's really starting to come along and really started to improve quite nicely. Now on to Duck Game. Mondays, I get an email from Josh saying, yo, can you talk, can we Skype? And I was like, okay, what's the dealio? I could tell by the way he'd messaged me that it was something quite serious. It would turn out that Josh had done Duck Game as part of a game jam with somebody else, and he had done it many, many, many years ago. When we'd first sort of hooked up and started working together, he sent me all the stuff he'd built in the past to have a look at. And was there anything in particular that I wanted to sort of make a start on or flesh out and improve and stuff? And I had to pick Duck Game. And he basically thought, well, it's no big deal. I made it in a game jam with another guy a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. He's not going to care. It's all done and dusted. It's all forgotten about. So that was that. So we started running with Duck Game. Now it turns out that the guy that he did build it with back in the day kind of does care that we've been working on Duck Game. It would appear that he's not happy about that, which is fine. That's entirely up to him. He's allowed to do that. That's fine. It is his creation. At the end of the day, him and Josh made it together, so he has equal say in what happens to it. And he had apparently already intended to do something with it at a later date anyway. With that being that little bit of a kind of a grey area there and stuff, we are unfortunately having to ditch Duck Game, which is a little disappointing because that was the one that I was really most excited about. So that leaves us in a bit of a conundrum of where do we go from here. So me and Josh have been talking, trying to work out what we're going to do. Okay, now Duck Game was actually going to need a huge overhaul anyway. Basically, when they built it years gone by, when they built it years and years ago, what had happened is he had done part of the mechanics when building it, that when you change from the regular duck without a weapon to having a sword and then to having a cannon and stuff like that, each time he was doing that, it was changing the object, if you know what I mean, rather than just what it looked like. So ordinarily in Game Maker, you would have like an object, that's your thing, that's your person, and the sprite is effectively just a skin, what it looks like. So that's how come like you have the object that moves and the skin that flashes and changes shape to make it look like it's walking. It's not actually an object that's walking, it's just an object, a Morpheus Gloopus lump that's moving, that has all the code that determines what happens with it, and then on top it has a pretty little skin that walks, or a creepy hand spider. That's how you normally do it, and if that then was picking something up, this underlying blob would not change, and it would just change the sprite. So it would then pick up a thing and it would get a gun sprite. That's the gun sprite. It would do that. But unfortunately, when they built it initially, due to it was one of their really early pieces, so kind of due to inexperience and stuff like that, they'd basically got it so that when you picked something up, all of that went, and it reinitialized it as a different object with a gun sprite. And that works perfectly well. Initially, we were already starting to find problems, because what you would want to do is, say for instance, just to give you an example, if you collide with an enemy, it reduces your hit points and you then die. Fairly straightforward, okay? So you put that code into the object when it's empty, when he's got no weapons and he's just a walking hand spider, and then it collides with an enemy and it knows, oh, we'll reduce the amount of hit points he's got, he's dead. But then if you then pick up the sword and then you do that, that code isn't in there. So it doesn't know anything about it because it's a new object. So it doesn't know what to do when you collide with it. So you then also have to transfer that code into there as well to tell it, oh, well, your hit points. And he goes, well, how many hit points have I got? And he's like, oh, well, yeah, when you were without a weapon, you started with 5, but then you got hit, so you've only got 3 left now. And he goes, oh, well, normally when I initialise, I've got 5. I know, but you've only got 3 because of that. It starts to become quite tricky to make sure that that's always carried forwards. And then obviously if you've got problems like you're introducing new enemies and new things and new individual case types, like if you hit an enemy that's like this, then this happens, however if you do something like this, then this should happen, and all that, it then starts becoming really tricky because you have to then duplicate code, shoving everywhere. So for every single iteration, you know, when he's carrying this weapon, you have to have like code in there, and when he's having that, you have to have the same code. It becomes unworkable. The further down the line you go, it becomes more and more prone to errors. So we were going to have to redo all of that anyway. So it was like, okay, so we've got to get rid of the code and all that kind of stuff anyway. So effectively we were just keeping the assets and the sprites and all that kind of stuff. And now we've got a problem with this chap not wanting us to do that either. What we are going to do, debating on how much to say about this, because me and Josh we're very excited about it. We have got some really cool stuff going on. It's a bit annoying that we're going back to the beginning, but that's fine. We can fix all the problems we had from the other one, and we can work on that. We're keeping a space shuttle, and that's going to carry on over. What we're going to do, I don't know whether I want to tell anyone. I haven't checked this with Josh yet. I haven't cleared it with him. I think what we'll do, I will just give you a brief synopsis, and I won't go into any major details because we've gone quite far, like in the planning stages of this, and Josh is working really hard while I'm bumming about for my birthday. He's working really hard on some very cool mechanics which will be coming into it, and we will reveal those and explain them later down the line. But yes, this is already looking good. The basic idea is we are going to combine the space shooter and the platformer to make one platforming spaceship. No, that'd be stupid. No, we're going to make a platformer where you are on a planet and you would run around and you would do platforming and the such. And then when you've completed that planet, you then get into a spaceship and fly away and then do something in space and do the shooting in space and all that kind of stuff. And then when you've got there, that gets you to the next planet, and then that will be different. And all the planets will be different, and they will all be, and we have some really cool mechanics that will work, that will give the game kind of like a social aspect as well, so that, you know, you'll be able to share your experience with, I can't really talk about it, so like, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really good. This is really holding we're kicking the February release date just out the window now, because this is going to be a hugely ambitious project, even though we've never really got that far with any of the others for varying different reasons. And you might all think we're quite freaking mad, bearing in mind that I was supposed to be doing one game that was going to be released in February all on my own. We're now taking on a partner, we're now doing 2 games, and I've ditched that first one, and now we're ditching one of those, and we're doing another one, and then we're smushing the 2 to make another one, and yeah, it is crazy, and it's probably really ill-conceived and absolutely stupid. But when the more we've talked about this and the more we've worked, it's really going to be good. So with that in mind, I have just thrown together a very bare bones mechanic of a platformer. It's not pretty, it doesn't work. It was more to make just a step one on a platformer, get it moving. So it now moves, I now have movement, I have a jump, and that's all working fine. I carried over the jump sound effect that I had from the other one, which is annoying as hell, so I will mute that out once you've done 1 or 2, because we need to play around with that, make that less annoying. But yeah, this is now working. We have jump, we have collision, we have a decent gravity, we have friction in place. That's all working. I managed to throw all that lot together quite quickly. We are currently working on character designs and assets, and we need to have a real good chat about what we're going to do there, because the space shooter was relatively serious looking, and the platformer was obviously very cartoony. Focus testing went very well with the cartoony thing, so that's cool. But you know, the spaceship shooter, again, there's lots of work to be done on them, so we might be changing that, or we might be going a little more serious, or we might be going a little more cartoony with one also. But yeah, it's going to be so cool, and I'm really, it's really hard because, like I said, Josh is like my business partner, as it were, and I don't want to, you know, say anything I shouldn't be saying so early on in the game. So but I do just want to say that this is going to be amazing. This is actually going to be good. I am on full Peter Molyneux mode now. This is going to be absolutely wicked, and I really can't wait for everything to come through. Josh is working really hard on doing one of the mechanics, which is going to be very good. This is all going to get cut now. So yeah, bit of an odd week, has to be said, a couple of weeks even. With it being Vlogtober, I don't know, judging by the views, none of you have seen, I did a video on the SNES Mini coming out. I did a little vlog about going and collecting that, and that is in preparation for Vlogtober, which starts today. When you're watching this, today is Vlogtober. So I will be doing daily content every single day. There'll be like a little short, sort of 3 or 4 minutes or 5 minutes long video every single day throughout October. Totally convinced that will work perfectly fine and will not drive me mad. So there will be a complete stop on the midweek videos. I won't be doing a long form video like I've done with the love letters, but I will still be doing devlogs. So you'll be able to see just how much work I'm putting in on this, and then criticise me for not doing enough. So you'll get to see what I do on my day-to-day. It's going to be quite an interesting challenge, because there are a lot of daily vloggers out there who have really interesting lives. Casey and I start thinking about you, and then you have me, and I work mostly. So there will be an awful lot of videos which will be getting up, going to work, coming back from work, working on video game. So I've got to try and make those really interesting, but I will do. They're good. Stick around, you'll enjoy them. They'll be awesome. Anyway, devlog over, all finished. Thank you. Thanks for watching, guys. Stick around, more videos, awesomeness, and this is just you stick around. It's going to be really good. I'm not crazy. It's going to be awesome.